Mayor, welcome back to the program here. Let's start with a big question. Based on what has happened, do you expect Plano is going to rescind its withdrawal election come May?
You know, after yesterday's meeting with the RTC, that was almost the last hurdle to get over to really have an opportunity to take it back to the council and rescind the item on the ballot.
That sounds like a yes to me.
It is. You know, it's up to my council, but at the same time, we've had these conversations. If we can get to this area of funding agreement, would we be willing to take this off the ballot? And so I think we're all in agreement in that area, and we just we hope that DART can deliver that ILA, which is the agreement on the funding issue, and get it to all the member cities. And hopefully all the member cities can agree that we can move forward with this funding formula.
And that's going to happen in the next 10, 12 days though, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is imminent.
Very soon, yes.
Have you heard of any dissension at all on your council in Plano?
No.
Okay. Lay out the solution here. How does Plano benefit from this deal?
Well, actually this agreement was the same, you know, concept of the agreement or the offer that we were offering DART and took it down to Austin at the legislature last spring. So this is very similar to what we've agreed upon. So in that respect, I think we'd be hypocrites if we said, no, we don't want this deal, because that's basically, in essence, the deal that we took down to the legislature just last spring.
You always said that Plano wanted the trains, not the buses, though. What will folks in Plano actually see once this is implemented?
I think what they'll see is the continuance of DART as a whole. So we'll have the buses, we'll have the express, we'll have paratransit, we'll have our rails. But at the same time, I don't think this is the end of the conversations about ridership, service, using data for better ridership. I think those conversations continue.
Well, if the buses are still there and fewer people were riding the buses, you were also saying that this is all about money too. Plano pays in, 1 cent like all the other member cities, and we're not getting back as much as we're paying in here. Is that going to change? Because the funding still kind of remains funky here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the funding is a combination of DART reducing their revenue and the RTC participating as well in
Regional
helping.
Transportation Council.
Correct. And so they will kind of partner in being able to bring that penny down to 0.75 of a penny. And by doing that, we're also going to do a stair step for the next 5 years. So this will not all happen in year 1. It will work its way to year 5.
So just for clarity, Plano still pays its 1 cent in, but it's getting money back from the Regional Transportation Council.
And DART.
And DART is giving up to 10% of the sales tax money back too then, right?
Correct.
What is that money going to be used on in
Well,
Plano? It's going to be transportation projects, right?
Correct. And we've been very intentional on infrastructure and our roads and making sure we're updating all of our transit needs that we have in Plano. And we'll continue to utilize those dollars for that.
Mayor, you've been out front on this, finally getting Dallas and DART to do something that's been talked about for a long time. It should have been started years ago, frankly. Are you surprised at the influence you've had being out front on this?
I am a little bit, because it's such a large group to kind of bring together and to be able to come up to an agreement that everybody, like I said earlier, has different needs. And for Dallas to agree to the governance issue on the DART board,
To reduce its influence there.
that's a huge thing. And they still have a very large influence on the DART board. But at the same time, I think it's making everyone who has a seat on the DART board a little more influential. And I think that's important for the member cities to feel like they have a say in the decisions that are being made. The other part was the funding, which was always going to be a difficult task. But at the same time, we've worked a long time for this. So I'm very proud of the fact of the work that we've done, that DART's done, that the Regional Transportation Commission has done, to really come together and come up with a solution that works for all of us.
When you started this, though, I mean, everyone was in their corners and seemed to be dug in, and
Yeah.
you guys moved forward, like the other member cities, the other 6 member cities, wanting to call these elections. At the end of the day, though, you've been the guy out front on this. Are you surprised that people changed their minds and decided this is worth saving and going to the bat for?
I am, because I think that first year in the legislature, which was in 2021, we were kind of by ourselves. And then the next legislative session, we had 3 or 4 cities come with us. And then this last one, we had 6 or 7. But it was still not enough to really make a difference. They'd always tell us in the legislature, go back and work it out yourself. And we were frustrated, but we said, okay, let's see if we can do this. And so we went to DART and asked, how can we move forward? And we also talked to the Regional Transportation Commission and said, how can you help us with now called Transit 2.0, which is basically how do we create connectivity throughout this growth of the Metroplex that will be significant in just a short period of time if it already isn't. And so that's been the big question is, guys, there's 15 million people going to be in Dallas-Fort Worth in just a few years. How do we prepare for that? And so I think people started realizing we needed to come up with solutions.
You've been working on this for a number of years, though, and at the end of the day, you got it done.
We did. We did. I'm very satisfied with the effort, and this wasn't just me. It was our city manager. It was our staff that worked so hard down in Austin, right here in Dallas, trying to convince not just the 6 member cities that wanted to put it on the ballot, but everyone who understood that not only is there a funding issue, but there's a governance issue, and we need to work on being better at our service and our ridership to really pull cars off the freeway and really find solutions for mass transit that I think we all think are there, and we just need to make it better.
Cities have revolted in the past. That's always been unsuccessful. Why do you think Dallas and DART relented this time?
I think they realized we needed to make changes so they could grow, so they could have a better, efficient system for their cities. And I think DART realized in the end that they needed to make some changes as well.
But it's hard to give up power like Dallas did, to give up a majority influence on the board like it did.
It truly is, and that was significant. So this week has been pretty significant for all the things that have occurred. And really just this week, it's been amazing.
Mayor, congratulations.
Thank you.